Hey guys, welcome. Today is Happy New Year's, 恭喜發財. And we still decided to take some time to do this really, really short segment. And I'm Alex.
And May?
And I'm Marco.
Yeah, and then, so Chinese New Year means a lot, very different to many different people. When I used to live in the US, it used to be just a thing on ABC News where they just have something on Chinatown and that's it. But there's a huge deal over here in Asia. In Hong Kong, particularly in the mainland. So we're just here to share some experience regarding how we celebrate over here and what exactly goes on, and whether or not there's any economical implications with that. But I'll let Marco start off, and we'll just go off that way.
Yeah, sure. So Alex and I we spent many years in mainland China during Chinese New Year. The first time I experienced Chinese New Year in Beijing, it was quite an experience because the whole town literally shut down for like a month. And just imagine an economy totally shut down for a month. It's pretty amazing. Uh, and but it is true. Like all the people from Beijing would just go back home. Home meaning like they're outside Beijing, and people would just go home for like a 2 weeks to a month holidays, and restaurants are shut down. The places that I used to go shopping for groceries are closed for like a week. Um, so it's pretty amazing. Every year, China economy just totally shut down for 2 months, 2 weeks to a month. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Alex,
mean,
yeah, how it was like in Shanghai? Do you want to
Chinese New
share
Year
some?
is always a mixed feeling before and after, or during, right? So as Marco says, everything shuts down, and because I was involved in construction before, things get very hectic before Chinese New Year because for some reason Chinese New Year is one of those arbitrary days that a lot of people wants to really just want to. It's an arbitrary cutoff date for a lot of construction projects. So it's like, oh, we've got to be done by Chinese New Year's, and a lot of times we do promotions, we do like things that we want open by Chinese New Year's, and there's really huge rush. Towards Chinese New Year's, and at the same time, there's another thing resisting it, which is the workers usually go away, and the workers go away. Usually, people take about 2 weeks off. That's the official dates. But then, for construction, the workers usually come from the lower provinces, and no lower tier provinces, and they would just go away for like a month or two. So that is why it's actually really really huge deal to finish the projects beforehand. So usually it's just like one big mad rush beforehand, and then but the great thing about Chinese New Year's is that because I was also involved in construction, that during Chinese New Year's is the only time that you could take a holiday without people clamoring you on the phone with something, because usually you go on holidays and then and then people on different wavelengths and people still bother you, so you're still not really on holiday. But it's the only time in the world where you're not doing anything and nobody else is doing anything. So
Yeah,
it's very good. And if I were to choose, actually, but if I were to choose, if it's between mainland Chinese New Year versus Hong Kong Chinese New Year, which is Hong Kong actually treat pretty seriously, but they do it for like maybe 4 days. I actually prefer Hong Kong because things still kind of run. You can still get what you need, and then
yeah,
you just have 4 days break. But then afterwards, it's like I'm not saying back to work. People just still kind of lingering in and out, but it gets a little bit easier to handle. It's not as drastic as in the mainland. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but
And the stock market, I mean, the Chinese stock market actually closed down all the way into the 30th. Um,
yeah.
since the 22nd. So literally, it's a week. A little bit short of 10 days. I mean, if you think about it in a Western sense, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think from Thailand we don't see a lot of actions. Here, though, we have a lot of Chinese, and we gave away ang pao, the little envelope of
Yeah.
money for the younger
Yeah, and
ones,
it's
or
pink,
the
right?
elder. It's pink or red, and
Okay.
or you gave it to your parents. or the ones that don't work. And but I mean, this one is like very exciting as until you work. It was very exciting when I was a child, and then it's
Yeah.
not that interesting when I have to give out all those envelopes. But what's interesting about Chinese New Year is this is like old wives' tale that they say that the gold will go up
Mhm.
during Chinese New Year, because the Chinese will always buy gold, beforehand, and they give away gold in this little envelope, or in the box for people. So the demand was very high right before Chinese New Year. So buy gold in early January and sell it after Chinese New Year, or in the Western sense, they say sell in May. All the risk asset you sell in May. So you
Mm,
see these patterns and you see these data, and so that's why people kept. I mean, gold shops packed,
mm,
during right before Chinese New Year, because people gave away gold. But wondering why I don't see any gold in my envelopes growing up. And but I think it's just an old wives' tale. I don't think the demand of the retails, buying gold to give away is going to push the market. But if you see these numbers, you will see. I mean, even right now, S&P went up, Dow Jones went up, Bitcoin went up, everybody went up for like everything went up. So risk assets. So interesting to see the patterns that coincide between investment and the assets itself.
And
Have
you
you
think
ever
it's based on
invest-
sentiment? You think it's based on sentiment, right? Usually the sentiment of people right before New Year's, or any, like, people more positive, or what do you, aside from the fact that people literally buy gold during Chinese New Year's, but what do you think was the thing that kind of motivates this rise in the market?
I think this is me all guessing, because I don't know if anyone pulled the data off. It's not always Chinese New Year that the gold went up. There's some years that it didn't, but most of the time, a lot of the times that I look, it went up. And I think it's the first quarter. So it's in the beginning of the year. Everything looks promising. Everybody announced all the numbers and speculations, what we're going to do, what we're going to have to the end of the year. So when you see these hope going up, in the beginning of the year, you have New Year resolutions, a version of New Year resolutions from companies, from government, from policies makers, you feel positive. And I think that's the reason. Beginning of the year, the first quarter, you will see a lot of assets price rising, and then sell in May. Reality hits in probably before the announcement of the second quarter, how the company do, or how the business do, how the countries do, the end of the second quarter, you start to have the reality check, and people say sell in May, because people have to sell it before the real numbers occur. So this is what I think. And rebuy again in October, because the end of the quarter, then you start to ramp things up. Things are about at the bottom, and then you hit the Chinese New Year again. And I think that's a investor cycle jokes, but a lot of the times it coincides.
Well, I have another pattern that I want to share with you is that um, usually RMB will go up. Like we do a lot of export import in
Ah,
CP in our line of business, and because Chinese New Year is such a big festival in China, families will stock up a lot of things because they need to celebrate this month-long celebration, and country will buy a lot of these food or consumer products from outside of the country. So RMB will usually go way up uh, right before Chinese New Year, and then it would come way back down when Chinese New Year is over. So that's the kind
ah,
of pattern that I'm used to in my line of work.
ah. Okay. China's closing down for over a week is a biggie for the world.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
sounds like people cannot really do a lot of the trade and the business dealing with mainland China during this time. Even as mighty as CP Group chairman, he has to take a day off today We
Wow.
we usually have this Tuesday big meeting within a CP group every Tuesday, and then this today it's Tuesday, and he has to take a day off because all the Chinese executives are on holidays.
Oh. Only one
Yeah,
thing that can
so
stop CP chairman.
yeah, so exactly. I mean, this is uh, as the Chinese festival, but as China is growing bigger and bigger, will have uh, a bigger impact to the world economy, I think.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But here comes personal question. You live in Hong Kong. You have like the background with China and all the cultures, Chinese cultures. What do you do during Chinese New Year? You're in a very fast paced country, and you got to stop for
Yeah,
days. What do you do?
we eat a lot. I gained like 10 pounds probably in the last 2 days.
Come
It's
on, so
all
it's
unhealthy food. Yeah,
impossible.
everybody, everywhere I go is like eat and eat and eat. Yeah, it's just like eating fest. So yeah, it's not a good time to do your annual body checked up after Chinese New Year because the numbers will be really bad. Yeah.
Okay. And same question goes to Alex. I just wonder, what
I
do you do
usually,
when you have to stop?
usually it's just spending time with the family. That's all it is. My father hosts this thing every year, so we go. I don't have the same problem with eating because for some reason, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's hamburger or anything, so I'm totally cool with it. Yeah, and my family in Hong Kong is relatively small, unlike in Thailand and the U.S. So this is one thing that I have to finish, and the rest of the time I just kind of chill out.
Wow. Right. And here, I think it's the same as Chinese family. We eat, we eat, we eat, and we eat again. I have this festival, went to Chinatown, and they sell almost everything, but 90% of the things that they sell is food. So and then we eat ourselves stupid, and then it's festivals after festivals. I think Chinese do love eating.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I'm in Thailand now, and yesterday I was walking around Icon Siam, and I think there's a fair amount of Chinese New Year celebration at the mall. They have lion dance and all the sort of Chinese festival performance. So I mean, my family are very much surprised. They were asking me, oh, actually Thailand people do celebrate Chinese New Year's quite a bit. May, do you think it's more so now because China is growing as such a big economic powerhouse, or it has always been like this?
I believe that Thais are party monsters. So we
Take any opportunity to party.
yeah, I think we have this. I think we love to celebrate. We love to get together. This is one of the chillax country. I think you can tell the difference between living in Hong Kong and living in Thailand. We always say "mai pen rai," doesn't matter, it's okay, and we have the apologetic smile, like, hey, we can delay this a bit. So you have this laid back. Plus, I love to gather. I love to party. I love to eat. Eating is one of the things that we have. Actually, growing. I see a fast pace of growing the restaurant business, and the delicate taste of Thai people. And I start to see like all the fine dining things growing up, and I think eating is not only the get together thing, but it's more like into let me we start to better ourselves in how we eat. And I think eating is a root of Thailand, and this is one of the country, may I advertise this country a little bit, that you can find the best of the best of the best food in a very, very reasonable price. A lot of Japanese came here and say that Japanese food in Thailand in a lot of restaurants are better than Japanese food in Japan itself. or a lot of people from a lot of countries say that, and we developing this. And I think Alex has something to agree with or not disagree with. Let's hear from him.
I thought that's what the Japanese say about Taiwan, but the Japanese food in Taiwan. Yeah.
So you can have the best Japanese food in everywhere around Asia. Yeah. So yeah, I think the country is celebrating. We love celebrating. We love eating. We love, and you have to see that there are lots of Chinese in Thailand, and there are plenty of them. And actually, we in Bangkok especially, you don't see a lot of pure Thai, especially when you're looking at middle class or upper class. You don't see a lot of 100% Thai. You see also the mixed race all the time. And a mix, like my grandparents from my father's side, they came from China all the way. So they're 100% Chinese, and my mother is like half. So I don't look very Thai. And and I think this is what happened. We have a lot of Chinese influence. So it's been like this a long time. And also we love the praying and talking to gods, and also the superstitious part of the thing. We believe that some gods will help us to go through with the business. And lo and behold, a lot of people who believe in that really made it through lives, and they went like really successful. So yeah, there's some empowerment into the beliefs.
Yeah, so I would say that my kids was walking around Icon CM, and you see a lot of these celebration in the mall, and my daughter quickly recognized a lot of these sort of impressions from influence from mainland China. And it's not a secret that the Thai culture has a lot of influences from Chinese immigrating into Thailand from 100 years ago. So yeah, I would think that Chinese New Year will have more profound impact to the area in the next decade to come. I'm sure.
Yeah.
And now the Chinese tourists are not actually coming in. I was talking to the hotel manager the other day. I was like, "Hey, I heard that China is open up." I was like, "Yeah, do you get a lot of booking from mainland China?" He said, "Not yet, but I'm sure it will come very, very soon, and it will have a big impact to Thailand economy."
I think because this is Chinese New Year, we can cut it short and keep it light. But I will ask Alex to wrap it up a little bit and see if he has any thoughts he wants to put into this.
No, nothing. I appreciate everybody for taking the time, even despite the holiday, to have a little talk over here. And yeah, like we're gonna be back next week as usual, talking about our usual stuff. But this week we just have to keep it light. And so unless if anybody else have anything else to say, I think we should just wrap it up right now.
Yeah, we can wrap it up, and then we'll see you again next week.
Okay.
Awesome. And have a happy Lunar Chinese New Year.
How do you say it in Chinese?
新年快乐.
新年快乐.
Yeah,
Or
新年快乐.
usually say 恭喜发财 is like you wish you have wish you make a lot of money.
Okay, that's a good one too. 恭喜发财.
It's all about money. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.